like, do they have a move to counter that? I don't know if they do.
I don't think so. That's a good point.
Now, anyway, that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah. I guess, so we've been at it for at least...
Oh my God, like 2 hours practically.
An hour 45.
Oh my God, okay. So I'm going to signpost the end here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't talked about Chrystia Freeland.
Yeah, considering running for NATO secretary.
So this means I have to update the Liberal power rankings because Freeland is no longer the heir apparent if she's going to run for NATO SecGen, right?
And it shows that, at least before the Queen died, she was kind of looking at the Lib as a sinking ship. Because, like, why else wouldn't you want it? She could have been prime minister if she wanted to be easy.
She can Paul Martin her way in, like, no problem. Yeah.
So the fact that she's even considering leaving means that it's a sinking ship. Everyone knows it. And
are we just looking at, again,
rearranging the
coronation of Pierre Poilievre? Like, is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah.
Is Catherine, I almost called her Catherine McKenna, is Chrystia Freeland going to dip and frickin' just let the Poilievre era happen without her?
Yeah. I guess it would be smart. You know what I mean?
So the other thing here too, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but she is Ukrainian Canadian, as we all know. And obviously is probably more interested in the Ukraine conflict than she is in
running
Canadian domestic policy.
Yeah.
So her running for NATO SecGen makes sense.
Yeah. That's the thing, she's not even foreign minister anymore. She's the finance minister, but it's like, you could just tell from any of the speeches, the different lunches that she goes to, she talks more about climate change in this country's finances. She talks about climate change in Ukraine more than anything to do with finances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not interested one bit in the financial affairs of this fucking country.
And neither is the prime minister.
Yeah, so I don't blame her.
So this, I guess, is the argument for Bill Morneau's Revenge 420.
I guess
and
so.
Or Mark Carney.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. This would be probably the lead story on any other episode. So the fact that we're only getting to this now after, what, 105 minutes?
Yeah.
That is a testament to how important and monumental and revered Queen Elizabeth II was.
Okay, next quick hit. Candice Bergen retiring.
Right.
Says she won't seek re-election after the new leader is named.
Candice Bergen, Bob Rae, and Rona Ambrose are the three greatest interim leaders.
Oh, for sure.
Of our generation.
Yeah. Because they all almost overshadowed the person.
Absolutely.
It's yet to be seen Candice, but the last two overshadowed.
Like, I remember Bob Rae way better than I remember Stéphane Dion.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, obviously there's a lot of other history there and baggage, and especially being from Ontario and all that, but still, like, anyway.
Yeah.
Ambrose.
They're punching way above their weight, you know?
Ambrose was,
Prime Minister material.
She was.
Bob Rae too, honestly.
Bob Rae too.
I don't think, if we got Bob Rae instead of Justin.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure you have a lot of the same. I don't know how much woke how much would he lean into woke? Maybe
quite a bit.
Yeah.
But less so, probably.
Yeah.
It would have at least been a more intellectually credible version of the party, whereas now the Liberals don't even pretend to be intellectually credible. Their version of intellectual credibility is like bureaucratic elitism.
Because Bob Rae wouldn't have just expelled all the fucking Crencham Martin people like Trudeau did.
Yeah.
He sent fucking Joe McCallum to China. He sent fucking Stéphane Dion.
He purged all the remaining Catholics from the party for the pro-life issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, literally purged. He went full, like, what was Lady Mao's name?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't remember her name, unfortunately. But yeah.
Literally, that's what he did.
Yeah.
To the Liberal Party.
Pretty much.
Of anyone who wasn't a Trudeau loyalist.
It was like, anyway.
Yeah. So, anyway, Candice Bergen.
Yep, she's out, and she did a fabulous job. She took control of the party at a terrible time for the party historically.
Yeah.
After Aaron Wet Blanket O'Toole had almost single-handedly destroyed conservatism in Canada as a project.
And they're in the middle of the convoy.
They're in the middle of the convoy, and you can only imagine how nervous somebody else would have been to have taken the moral position there.
The party literally could have split apart. If O'Toole had been the leader during the convoy, the parties we know it could have ceased to exist.
Yeah.
It'd come to a boiling point if he somehow managed to hold on.
The mass exodus to the PPC would have been hopefully quite unbelievable. Yeah.
Yes. But she was that steady hand. The messaging was
steady
concise.
hand on the tiller. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We we are with the people who are peacefully protesting. We're against the unlawful blockade of bridges and critical infrastructure. We're against violence and hate speech.
She took the generic conservative position
And,
like the best way.
Yeah.
And that's her job as interim leader. It's
Yes.
not to pop off on Twitter.
Yes.
But she took the conservative position and she did it in the best way possible.
Mad respect for her. You know what I mean?
I give her an A.
Once again, I'm sad that she can't run. It's just, I thought when I saw her retiring, another longly held conservative tradition of a fully capable female leader not being the leader.
That's right. The Tories have had
Retiring too
two
early.
very capable female interim leaders lately.
Very easily could have been prime minister, but not because they're better than politics, because of course they are, you know? You know, so I wish her the best, but it's going to be sad. I was really hoping she would like stick around as like a deputy prime minister,
yeah.
so, you know.
It's a loss for Polyev or whoever wins.
That's the thing.
Because having Bergen around and having her support and gravitas, and she's been around a long time.
But I don't blame her, honestly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know, you move on with your life too, right?
Yeah.
Like, who wants to sit in that, you know, dingy-ass House of Commons for their whole adult life?
Yeah, she could come back.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, be a senator or an ambassador or whatever.
Next quick hit.
Okay.
Education Stephen Lecce is base. He says schools, so he's the education minister in Ontario, says schools will not be closed due to possible spike in COVID-19 infections. And I really hope we don't get the amount of times like, but honestly, you know what I mean? Like in your column, you know what I mean? Like we got to like tell it how it is.
Yeah.
So let's tell it. What do you think? Is he the most based? No, I'm saying it. He's
Recently,
the most
yes.
based Doug Ford cabinet minister.
Recently, yes. 100%. 100%.
Way more based than Doug. Or
Since like
Christine
last
Elliott
spring, at least.
Yeah.
When basically they stopped giving so much of a shit about sabotaging Ontario schools.
Yeah, him and fucking Dr.
Kieran Moore.
Yes.
Dude, Dr. Kieran Moore
Yes.
might be my favorite Ontarian right now. Like, he's been on fire lately.
Yes. Yeah. Like, talk about how you don't even have to do the 5-day isolation anymore. Just come home, go back to work. We don't have symptoms. All these different things. It's stuff that they should have done, like the school thing. They should have done that from September of 2020. The kids should have gone back to school, and that's it.
Oh, but the teachers' unions threw a 2-year-long hissy fit.
Yes. The fact, like, my younger brother, he's like 11. Like, the amount of days he was in school in the past 2 years, I could count on my hand.
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. They fucked up these kids' lives for 2 years.
Yep.
University kids are going back in person, and fucking Western still wants to, like, mandate them.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. So at least...
Careful, Peter. You're going to get us pulled off YouTube again.
I hope we get... No. But it's like the fact that, like, someone has some balls. This education minister who... To his respect, he's been the most resilient cabinet minister provincially or federally.
Yeah.
Teachers union was coming at his neck. There were rumors that he wanted to be moved out of the post before the last election because he was worried about teachers union targeting his riding, and then he somehow managed to win. I wonder what his
Well, the teachers unions, they've been out for Doug Ford's scalp for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, that was part of why I was so bullish on the Ford government early on. Because, the teachers' unions were screaming bloody murder, and he was actually fighting back.
Oh, it wasn't even close in his riding.
Oh, wow. What a trouncing.
Yeah. 57% of the vote to 28% for the Liberal.
New Blue got half the NDP support.
This is in King Vaughan. New Blue, really?
Yeah. NDP
14,
almost 7.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Damn. There's a moderate party?
They're not really a thing.
What do you mean?
They don't really exist. Like, they make New Blue look like a serious party.
Oh, really?
And I say this as someone who actually voted New Blue and was happy to do so, simply to punish the Ford Conservatives for 2 years of bullshit.
Yeah, I voted Ontario Party for that similar reason. Because the New Blue guy in my riding dropped out.
Yeah, and there was no Ontario Party guy in my riding, so I didn't even have to make up my mind.
Yeah, but anyways, props to Stephen Lecce for having the balls to, stick to some sort of
He's actually the least liberal member of the Ontario Progressive Conservative Party right now because they've kicked out all of the actual conservatives.
Yeah, the fucking edge. And honestly, maybe he's taking around potential leadership.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, honestly, at this point, who are you supporting instead of him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd support Baber.
Yeah, but he's not even a member of the party anymore.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
he could come back.
It's possible. No, imagine a Baber Lecce.
Guys, I was right on these issues from day one. So now it's time to get it right 2 years too late.
That's Baber?
That's my Baber impression. If Baber came back like that, that would, anyway.
And Lecce would be like, I don't know, maybe like the Hillary. It's like kind of Hillary versus Obama, where Obama was always like anti-Iraq. He voted against the Iraq war.
He was anti-Iraq war until he became president.
Yeah, and Hillary was like, yes, I voted for the war, but like I did it because of this, and you know what I mean? But now I've seen the light.
I did it because of all those good union jobs and all those munitions factories.
Yeah, that would be Lecce, where he'd have to try and position himself, like pretty much tie himself to the good Ford legacy points. Pretty much he'd take credit for the post-COVID Ford government and try to distance himself from the during. Yeah. And the pre, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So you try to but I think he'd be able to do a good job. Of that. Like he'd give Baber or anyone else, anyone from like the quote-unquote hard right faction, a run for their money, I think.
No, you're probably right, especially with the benefit of institutional support from the party, which he would definitely have against Roman Baber.
So I'm maybe we should do a Tory leadership, like an Ontario Tory leadership power ranking, because
honestly, we should do every party in the country.
Baber, do this till
eventually.
Because we have Baber, Lecce. I think Caroline is in the mix.
Oh man, she has to be the heir apparent from Big Tory.
Yes,
she has to be
100%, because she's had several key kind of portfolios like transportation. I don't know what she's doing now, but she's had a bunch of portfolios. And she's managed
Attorney General.
Yeah, she's managed to avoid controversy for the most part. Like, the only time I hear about her in the news is when they're like opening like a train station or something. Which is good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want from a transportation minister.
She's managed to completely avoid any sort of like pandemic related, you know?
You're actually so right. It's weird how quiet Carolyn's been since 2018.
But she's also been visible. She's like been visible but quiet.
Visible but seen but not heard.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's the winning formula, dude.
She's the Minister of Transportation and the Minister of Francophonie Affairs.
That's a good portfolio for her.
Yeah. So I think those are solid, yeah. Like, I think she's one of the front runners, yeah. Who else? It would have been like the Carahelios.
yeah, but they kind of blew their wad a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. Is Vic Fideli still in there?
Oh, definitely. I can't believe we didn't come up with that sooner. Yeah. Vic Fideli has to be on the short list.
You'd be like, what would be a good analogy for him? Like,
he's like Mitch McConnell, but like not as old and not as warped.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Because he's still like a mainstream kind of a party guy, but you know, he's a real conservative. He's a northern guy. He's not like a total sellout.
Yeah.
But he's still definitely like a fixer kind of within the party, interim leader guy. Like, you know, there's a lot of angles with Vic Fideli. But yeah, like a Fideli, Mulrooney, Baber, Lecce campaign would actually be really interesting.
Yeah.
We've called Stephen Lecce, Lecce. We've called him every possible permutation of that name at this point.
It is 2:20 a.m.
I'm
so tired.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if there's anything. At the bottom we have, what's a more worthy pursuit? Destroy the Liberal Party or save the Liberal Party? But I think that's going to be like another 20-minute conversation.
Dude, that would be like a 10-year conversation. So I might we could go on that one for a long time. Also, it's a question of who's doing the saving. Is it Jody High Roller, Wilson Raybould? Or?
Last thing, and literally only 2 minutes because I'm about to like pass out.
Yes, Bernard Shaw.
Bernard Shaw died too. So he died, like, he's a famous, he's the CNN, like the first chief anchor from like 1980 when CNN started. Literally helped found the network. He died on September 7th, the day before the Queen. But does anybody care?
Sadly, not even CNN cared, because you told me that it was only on the ticker, and it was like a blink and you'll miss it thing. So like your mom, who is watching the same show as you, didn't even see it on the ticker.
Yeah, and that's literally how I found out, from the ticker.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I didn't even see anything, any Google alerts about it or anything.
Well, okay, what if, you know, God forbid, but what if Mansbridge died the same day as Prince Charles? What would the CBC do?
Yeah. Same thing CNN did.
This is terrible, and I really don't mean this in a morbid way, but I kind of hope that happens now. I just want to see what our public broadcaster would do. That's all.
The same thing, man. They always go for whatever bleeds, it leads, and the royal blood.
Yeah, royal blood trumps Mansbridge blood, I guess. Just ask Wendy Mesley.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
no,
it's
that's
like,
true.
I don't know much about Bernard Shaw because he was a bit before my generation, but he seemed like the kind of one of the last kind of traditional,
like the Cronkite generation.
Like Wall is, you know what I mean, where these news anchors weren't obsessed with being fucking Twitter
anti-Trump
celebs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter reply guys.
This is the pre-Don Lemon era of CNN.
Yeah. It was a more dignified time, you know what I mean? A more civilized age.
Yeah.
So I don't think he minds. You know what I mean?
He probably understands. Well, he was a newsman.
Yeah.
So he'd probably get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Queen scooped him.
Yeah. I mean, you know, could be worse.
Yeah. So, and I guess with that, you know, wrap up. So
yeah. So our video on the Western U vax mandate got pulled from YouTube because I clickbaited the title just a little bit too hard, I think. You know, saying it's time to declare victory.
Yeah.
The censors didn't like that. We're going to keep trying to upload stuff to YouTube. We're moving to Rumble. I might start uploading stuff on BitChute. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
continue to follow us, like, and subscribe. We need to get better at
we need to promote this shit with calls to action.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So smash that like button.
Yeah.
Hammer that subscribe button.
Hit the bell and you'll be automatically notified of our content.
Follow us on pennant.ink. You have all of our written work.
That's INK, pennant.ink. There's Twitter, Pennant.ink.
Yeah. The other social media aren't really active yet.
I'm still figuring that out. I'm terrible at social media. I'm you know, a quiet, private person.
Yeah.
I'm learning, but it is a bit of a struggle for me, I will admit.
It's a work in progress.
But we're getting there, and the sooner you guys subscribe and like and share and retweet and reblog and TikTok, the sooner we can stop talking about it.
Yeah, so do that. And I just like to say, you know, regardless of everything we talked about, I really am just happy to be alive today and happy to, like, just share in this moment. You know, despite how sad it is, it's important that we kind of reflect. And I encourage everyone to, you know, spend time with their family, spend time with your loved ones, go out and do something with your friends, and just reflect on being in this moment and being alive and being with your loved ones, and just reflect on everything that Her Majesty the Queen, you know, gave us and did for us and represented and encouraged and helped us to just completely hold on. And, you know, her quote, maybe I will end this off with reading her COVID speech quote, you know, the whole
while you look that up, I'm just going to say as well, as you're seeing all of these, you know, mean tweets and dancing on the grave and dabbing on colonialism and all that shit, take her example in mind, keep it in mind. Imagine how she would react to that. Would she be baited into an angry altercation and telling these people that, oh, you're disrespectful, anti-patriotic, blah, blah, blah? No. She would smile, her dignified smile. She would more or less understand where they were coming from, and she would move the heck on. And, you know, that's also what you guys should do. So don't take the bait. There's a lot of bait out there right now. Just don't take it. Take the high ground. It's what she would want.
I'll read an excerpt from her speech that she gave on April 5th, 2020, as the world was beginning its kind of global lockdown and the 2 years of hell and all this kind of shit. But she gave, I recommend everyone after this video is done to go and watch that speech, the Queen's coronavirus speech in full, because it's probably the single best speech given by any kind of world leader I've ever seen given.
Wow.
And there's a lot of good speeches, but I think at the time when I watched it, it's what I needed to hear. It's what a lot of people needed to hear. No one articulated just the common anxiety of the world so well. And the quote that I have is one of my favorite quotes of all time that I'll always keep in my heart is, she says, Her Majesty says, "We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We'll be with our friends again. We'll be with our families again. We will meet again." The Queen. And she was right. You know what I mean? For 2 years, we were doing things virtually. We were locked up inside. Here we are, maskless, outside together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing things, communing, living, loving. So take it from the Queen. She was right, of course. We were with our friends again. We meet again. And this is Alex and Peter for the Pennant Podcast signing off.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and let us know what you think.
And we will meet you again in the next episode. God save the Queen. Long live the Queen. Long live, bless her soul. And long live the King. Good night.
We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again. But for now, I send my thanks and warmest good wishes to you all.